Good evening and welcome to a new edition to the Swimming World TV lineup. This is the WarmDown Show, coming to you live to recap the first final session of the 2011 ConocoPhillips National Championships. I'm your host Peter Bush alongside Swimming World analyst Tiffany Elias. All right, here's what you can expect this week from Swimming World TV. We're doing a warm-up and a warm-down show before and after every final session of the Senior Nationals. The warm-up show will be live at approximately 5:15 Pacific Time each night. The warm-down show will begin shortly after the completion of finals each night, like we're doing right now. Breaking some new ground in swimming coverage. Hope you enjoy it. Spread the word. We hope this is a huge success. All right, Tiffany, general impressions of night one.
Peter, it's so difficult coming off the World Championships. We saw the best of the best for every country compete. So we're trying not to give it a feel of a possible letdown, knowing that there were such fast times put up in Shanghai. With that said, there were a lot of times swam at Nationals tonight that would have been competitive at the Worlds. So I think overall there were a lot of great swims, and we definitely want to keep our eye on what those returning World Championship swimmers are doing right off the plane from Shanghai.
A few cases where we saw an American go faster tonight in Palo Alto than any American did in Shanghai. And I think we were pretty lucky, day one of the meet, to get what might end up being the biggest story of the meet. Brendan Hansen coming back in a big way, 100 breaststroke. Let's show you the highlights. This is Hansen before the race. He qualified first, so he generated enough buzz in the morning. And he was thinking, he had to have been thinking, if I can break a minute here, what a statement that would send. And he comes out and he goes a 00:08. Winning the event pretty easily. Second, Kevin Swander, 00:59. Third, Marcus Titus from Tucson Ford. Brendan Hansen, here we are. This guy who's been one of the best breaststrokers in American history, but hasn't really been on the scene the past few years, just really got started training again. Obviously, he's back in it.
It was a great swim for Hansen. Titus gave him a run for his money all the way through about the 75-meter mark, but Hansen really showing to have that final 15 put together a great race. But like you said, a 0:00, which would have made him the fastest USA swimmer at Worlds. So I think that speaks volume for our up-and-coming USA men's breaststrokers.
Let's go live to Jeff Cummings in Palo Alto. Jeff, you were there on deck for the big race. What was the vibe like when Brendan Hansen nearly broke a minute tonight?
Everybody was excited to see him back, Peter. I was just standing there on deck with people who have no association with Brendan, and all they could talk about is, this is going to be awesome to see him back at trials. And if he could break a minute, it will be awesome. He didn't break a minute, but everybody still gave him a pretty good strong ovation at the end of his race, just to know that what he has done is not just send a message to the world that he's back, but just to the other breaststrokers in the United States that you got to step up your game if you want to beat me.
His stroke looked as pretty as ever. As Tiffany mentioned, he was pretty even at the 75 with a couple of swimmers, including Marcus Titus. But he's got that beautiful, long, flowing stroke, and he really just pulled away there at the end.
Yeah, and I'll have the interview up for swimmingworld.tv that I did with Brendan after the race. He said he didn't think he was going out as fast as he was. But to me, like you said, it just looked like the Brendan of old. Doesn't look like he'd been out for, almost 18 months. It just looked like everything was back to normal. I think for him it's back to normal. I think he wanted to go under a minute. But the statement he sent is that he's not playing around. He's going to make the Olympic team. He's going to be there racing against his old pal Kitajima again.
Well, I think coming off of an 18-month hiatus and posting a top 10 time in the world is promising, and like you said, United States is weaker in the breaststroke right now, so it's really going to send a message to our fellow competitors.
Hey Jeff, quick about his splits. You mentioned that he went out pretty fast. He did. He was out in 27.8. I look back at what the guys did in Shanghai at the World Championships. Take out Alexander Delioen, who won easily. He was just as fast pretty much as anybody. He just needs a little bit more training, I think, to get that back half speed back.
I think that's what he realized, is that he knows he can go out with these guys, but obviously these guys have been putting in, probably 4 consecutive years of training where he really has only been putting up a good 8 months of training. So I think in time he's going to be able to go out 27.5 even because he'll be more conditioned to go out faster, and he will be able to bring it home like Brendan has been known to do.
So again, he went faster than any other American did this year. Gangloff came close, just a tenth slower in the semifinals in Shanghai. Gangloff's not there, but Eric Shanto's there, Mike Alexandrov, arguably the two other guys that are going to be in contention for this spot next year. I mean, both spots pretty much wide open in that event. Did you get to talk to those guys? Did they make any public comments about Brendan Hansen obviously being back in the mix?
I didn't get to talk to them, but I could kind of see behind the blocks after when they all got out of the water after the race. I could just kind of see in their faces that, they didn't expect Brendan to go so fast. I think they just kind of know that, yeah, they've been working hard, but there's something else they've got to do in order to stop his trajectory, which is going to be tremendous.
Yeah, hey Jeff, we mentioned earlier there were a lot of fast times that would have finaled in Shanghai or would have been the fastest American time so far this summer. General thoughts about seeing, Elizabeth Beisel throw down a heck of a 200 IM and some of the other swims tonight that may have serious implications for next year and who qualifies for those events for the Americans.
Yeah, just coming off the plane, from what I understood, what Dana Vollmer told me after I did the interview with her, they got off the plane at 8:30 in the morning on Monday. So basically, they only had 24 hours to get adjusted, which is not a lot of time to come off a big meet and then to kind of get back adjusted into the Pacific time zone. So to see not only Elizabeth do well with two events, 200 IM, and then get third in the 400 free, and Dana do so well. A couple of the other people probably are still a little bit jet lagged, and they'll probably start to get better as the meet goes along. But I think it sends a statement to the rest of the world that, yeah, U.S. is really meaning business.
Jeff, thanks. We'll check back with you later in the show.
All right.
All right, there were some other great events tonight. Let's move on with the next one.
We started with the 100 fly for the ladies, and of course Dana Vollmer put up a national win there in a 57.2, which was right off a little faster than what she went this morning.
Fourth fastest in the world this year, I think they said. Obviously, she has the fastest, but that's good stuff. And Claire Donahue, she really pushed her out in that first 50.
Yeah, Claire was out very fast, 26.6 at the 50, leading the way. And she ended up marking a 58.0, which was a personal best for Claire as well. So it was a great swim on her part. She was the rabbit out front for Dana, but it was in that final 15 to 25 meters where Vollmer just pulled ahead and really secured the touch.
Christine Magnuson, who was the second 100 fly swimmer for the U.S. in Shanghai, her fastest time there was 58.5, I think. Donahue just beat that by a half second. I mean, that second spot for the women's 100 fly is wide open right now.
It's open right now, and it's going to be really competitive. I think Dana's looking strong, but like you said, Magnuson's going to have to step it up if she's going to want to get that second place position.
All right, moving on. Men's 400 freestyle was the next event. Michael Klee is the one who took it out, 152 flat at the 200, but it was Matt McLean, the University of Virginia star, now training with John Urbanchek. Negative split the race, wins it in 3:47.33. Big national championship for him.
Yeah, McLean really didn't lose his cool there. Klee was out very fast, but McLean came back in a 56.4 in his final 100. So he really, kept his stroke the way he wanted to and really pulled away at that last 350. Michael
Klee, 3:48.4. Charlie Houchin, who swam this event in Shanghai, went pretty much the exact same time as he did there, 3:48.8. Again, I think it's another one of those races that behind Peter Vanderkay, second spot is wide open.
Very true.
All right, women's 200 IM, great race.
This year 200 IM was, we were all watching to see what Missy Franklin would do in her first final tonight. She was the leader at the halfway mark. Very aggressive fly. She was out in 28.2, halfway split 101. But breaststroke, Katie Hoff took over, but it was Beisel with the freestyle to come in for the win.
She's tough, man. 2:10.7 after a long week in China, long flight. She swam the 400 free later. I can't believe they made her do that double. But she's tough. I mean, she just took down Katie Hoff, no problem. I guess we learned Missy Franklin needs some breaststroke work.
Yeah, Missy Franklin, but she put up a great great
bad.
run for the
Fourth.
front half.
Yeah.
And what they were mentioning earlier about Franklin is that she's won a world title before a national title, which is pretty big for the 16-year-old. So I'm sure at some point we're going to see her win a national title, but speaks volumes to know that you can knock out a world title before you hit the national stage.
Absolutely. All right, the men's 100 breaststroke was next. We've mentioned what happened, and that's when Brendan Hansen back in the game for sure. Then we had the women's 400 free.
Steenvoorden with a great negative split. We were a little worried at the halfway mark. It was Anderson out in a 204, which isn't anything spectacular in a 400 free, but Steenvoorden was able to negative split and bring it in with a 407.6. So it was a pretty good swim. It would have seeded her seventh at Worlds, which would have been right ahead of Katie Hoff. So in that perspective, it was pretty strong.
Katie Hoff's best swim in China was 407.9. Chloe Sutton's best was 408.2. Chloe 408.52. I think, again, this one is wide open right now. I mean, Katie Hoff, Chloe Sutton, this girl's got to be in the mix. And Biza went 409.2. I don't know if she wants to swim that next year, but she's certainly showing that she's capable. There's some wide open events right now in America.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the next year unfolds because we don't have a lot of positions where it's just 100% like a Phelps or a Lochte. So at least on the ladies' side right here, it's going to be a lot of competition.
All right, the last individual event of the night was the men's 400 IM. Robert Margalis, 29 years old. Usually don't see a guy pushing 30 swimming the 400 IM very well. It's more of a young man's game. But he wins it, holds off Connor Dwyer. It got close at the end. But Margalis holds on to his big lead, 4:15.62. Dwyer second, 4:15.97. Andrew Gamble, the poor guy, he's another one. He swam the 400 free earlier in the night. His coach, what are you doing to this guy? Poor guy. And one thing of note, B final, is Chase Callis, 17 years old, trains at North Baltimore with Michael Phelps. Wins the B final in 4:18.4. I could see this kid being something special.
Now, this was an event that we mentioned didn't have a lot of super heavy hitters. It was more of a NCAA final feel. But I was impressed by Margalis, and I was really hoping he was going to hold off Connor Dwyer because he really showed a lot of guts going out. He was your leader all the way through there. Connor Dwyer started to chase him down on the breaststroke, but he had him.
It's a painful way to swim a 400 IM.
It's painful, but it paid off in the end because he got that victory.
Quick note on the final event of the night was the 400 freestyle relay. Now, I know the relays aren't taken as seriously at a meet like this as they are at NCAAs or a big international meet like the World Championships or Olympics. Just a quick note of who won. Swim Mac Carolina wins in 3:18.55. Stanford second, Tucson 4, Dealers third. And of note in that Tucson 4 Dealers relay, 48.2 from Matt Grievers. So a guy who's obviously in contention to be on America's 400 freestyle relay next year. 48.2 is not a great split, but it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, you can't count out Grievers. He's going to have a great year ahead of him.
All right, let's bring back Jeff Cummings. Hey, Jeff, I want to get your thoughts on Missy Franklin's 200 IM. I mean, we mentioned she kind of died on the breaststroke leg there, but still showed some serious potential if she could maybe sharpen up that breaststroke. And then just how many events seem to be wide open right now. 400 free for the women, second spot in the 100 fly for the women. I mean, I think this really showed that there are no set events on the women's side, really.
With the exception of maybe the 100 breast with Rebecca Soni and Jessica Hardy, everything else is there's either a battle for first and second at Olympic trials or just a battle for just second. But yeah, today the 400s just absolutely bust wide open. There's nobody that's really standing out and saying, look, you guys have to chase me. Ashley Steenvoorden, I think she surprised herself, but I think that's got to really give her some confidence to say, I can race Chloe, I can race Allison, and if Katie Hoff decides to swim this event next year, that she can race them too. Yeah, it's completely wide open. That's what makes Olympic trials so exciting.
All right, Jeff, hang on for 1 second. I want to show a graphic with the rundown for tomorrow, day 2 at the meet in Palo Alto. Here are the events that are tomorrow. Women's 100 backstroke, men's 200 free. We've got men's 100 backstroke, women's 200 free, men's 2 fly, and the day closes out with the women's 4x100 freestyle relay. So we've got some great matchups tomorrow, And Jeff, I'm looking forward to seeing Missy Franklin swim that 100 backstroke, something we all wish we could have seen in Shanghai.
I think everybody's going to want to see what she could throw down. Natalie Coughlin went 59.13, I believe, on the medley relay, so that's the bar that is set. Missy, I think her best time in season was 59.6. So I think a lot of people are looking to see what she could do, and I think a lot of people are believing she might, if obviously she's got the jet lag and the travel and all that to deal with, but she obviously can put down something that's going to really say, look, everybody around the world, including Natalie, look out for me next year.
Like you said, she's going to be overcoming some huge obstacles coming off of Shanghai. But with another year under her belt, once she gets the rest, she's already a threat.
She's 16. They bounce back like it's nothing.
It's
good. You can make her tough for next year when she swims 7 events in London.
She will bounce back like a 16-year-old. But if she can really make a statement under these conditions, watch out. She's on fire.
She goes 58 tomorrow. Whoa. Natalie Coughlin will have to take some extra yoga classes to try and keep up with that. I mean, can you imagine that? If this girl comes in, you've got Natalie Coughlin, who's the longtime standard holder in the 100 backstroke for America. She throws down a 58, and then you've got Terry McKeever having to make the decision of whether or not to put Natalie leading off that relay like she's done for years. I mean, this could be another statement on top of a statement from Missy Franklin this week.
And you're so right with Terry. This is such a huge extreme between a veteran, and you can't get much more of a rookie than a 16-year-old girl. So it's going to be a big decision. Anxious to see what she's going to do tomorrow, because this is really going to let us know where Missy stands over the next year.
Jeff, any other events? I don't know if Lochtey's swimming the 200 free or the 100 back. I mean, what else to look out for tomorrow?
Yeah, Lochte is swimming the 100 back. That's going to be a barn burner of a race. You got Lochte, Matt Grievers, Nick Thoman's here. I believe David Plummer is here. And do not forget about David Nolan, who just broke the national high school record in the 100 backstroke. So those 5 guys are going to really try to make a statement to themselves because, again, this event is wide open. Nobody has stepped up to say, look, I'm the guy you have to chase. I'm the next Aaron Pearsall. Everybody still has something to prove, especially Nick Thoman and David Plummer, because Matt Grievers, who didn't have a great Nationals last year, has been kind of biding his time for the past 10 or 11 months saying, okay, my time's going to come in Nationals. I'm going to show that these guys are going to have to look out for me. He's the Beijing silver medalist in 100 back.
Jeff, good stuff tonight. Thanks, buddy. I know it's cold there in Stanford. We feel so sorry for you.
Well, it would be good to thaw out a little bit of Phoenix, but it's nice to be here to watch all these great races.
All right, you did a great job today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.
All right.
All right, and remember, this show is going to air throughout the night and all day tomorrow, leading up to our warm-up show before the finals on night 2. And that will do it for us tonight. Our thanks to USA Swimming for the video footage and Peter Bick for the photos. I'm Peter Bush for Tiffany Elias, saying we'll see you next time.